White heavy checkmark. My parents adopted the daughter of our late squad leader. On the eve of the college entrance exam, my mother pleaded with me, "Your brother isn't married yet, and our family can't afford to send two daughters to college. Shanshan was entrusted to us by the squad leader on his deathbed, so I must take responsibility for her. My brother, you're just a girl, you don't need to study too much." They put sleeping pills in my milk, making me miss the college entrance exam. I went out to work, paying off my brother's mortgage and earning tuition for my adopted daughter, until I died from exhaustion at my workstation. Later, my adopted daughter was sent to college by my parents, and she fell in love with my first love, opening my eyes. I found myself back in my second year of high school, and there was still time for everything. I no longer wanted the unattainable ideal. I no longer wanted a home. This time, no one could stop me from getting into Peke University. Shanshan, from now on, this will be your home. Please don't ever think of yourself as an outsider. Auntie and uncle will definitely raise you as their own daughter. Your father was our old squad leader. We will definitely take full responsibility for you. My mind was buzzing. The angina from the sudden death has never gone away. It has been a day since my rebirth, but I still haven't fully adjusted. Today is the first day Tang Shanshan came to my house. The whole family warmly welcomed her. And the meal was sumptuous. My mom even specially ordered a cake. But, Mom and Dad seem to have forgotten that yesterday was my birthday. On this day in my previous life, I was filled with grievances, drowning in the pain of feeling unloved, and consumed by endless self-doubt. But at this moment, I don't care whether anyone remembers my birthday or how much Mom and Dad favor Tang Shanshan. I pinched my thigh again and again, and the pain confirmed the reality of my rebirth. I'm back in my second year of high school. There's still time for everything. I haven't been drugged with sleeping pills yet, I haven't missed the college entrance exam, and I haven't died suddenly in a factory workshop. So, when the whole family was enthusiastically welcoming Tang Shanshan, I was already numb to it all and didn't care that I had never had a little cake. Once a person has a higher peak to climb in their heart, they will not care about the mud at their feet. I steadied myself, picked up my chopsticks, and started eating. Only when you're full can you have the strength. My mother also seized the opportunity to tease me. Wei Shu, look at Shan Shan. She's pretty and ladylike. Who's like you, always wearing a cold face all day long? I didn't make a sound. A person who has been suppressed for over a decade. How could she possibly be grinning all the time? My parents continued to praise Tang Shanshan, while I became her point of comparison. After the meal, my mother instructed me, Wei Shu, Shanshan used to come from a well-off family and can't bear harsh conditions. Coming to our home is a hardship for her. Give your room to Shanshan, and you go stay in the small room. In my previous life, my mother gave me the same instructions, but I cried, asking why I had to move into the storage room. I was only standing up for my own interests, yet my mother scolded me harshly, saying I was ungrateful and that the old squad leader had always taken good care of them as a couple. This time, I silently moved out of my own room. Do not resist, do not question, and do not place yourself in the role of a victim. I have only one thought. It's my second year of high school, and time is running out. It took me over an hour to clean out the storage room, which was just big enough to fit a single bed and barely squeeze in a small desk. However, for me, it is already enough. I turn on an old desk lamp and open the book. The world outside has quieted down. I bury my head in the familiar scent of ink, tears welling up in my eyes. Thank heavens for giving me another chance to start over. In my past life, the feeling of being suppressed by fate was like drowning. I am in pain, but I cannot break free. That night, I studied until 1 a.m. and got up at 6 the next morning to do housework. Given my mom's personality, if I slack off, she'll definitely give me a hard time. I used to think she just favored boys over girls. But ever since Tang Shanshan came to our home, I realized my mom doesn't dislike girls. She just dislikes me. She always says I'm like my dad, with no redeeming qualities except for my face. My dad is useless, only able to get this resettlement apartment thanks to my grandparents' inheritance. My mom blames all the hardships in life on my dad. She doesn't love my father, so she also dislikes me, but strangely, she loves my brother. Tang Shanshan is the daughter of the old squad leader. It wasn't until after my death in my previous life that I learned the old squad leader was the one my mother had longed for her entire life, the daughter of an old friend. She treated her as her own. At 7 in the morning, everyone in the family gradually got up. My mother personally brought Tang Shanshan a bowl of soy milk and instructed me, "Take good care of Shanshan at school. She has been pampered since childhood. A young lady, she's not like you, not like me. Am I inherently inferior to others?" I still didn't have a hysterical outburst in person, just responded calmly, "Emotions, time, and energy are all precious, and I need to give my all to pursue my dreams." Tang Shanshan smiled sweetly. "Thank you, Auntie, you're so kind to me. My father often mentioned you when he was alive." These words happened to stir ripples in my mother's heart. My mother became even kinder to Tang Shanshan. "My brother is going to college today." When he left, he didn't say goodbye to me. Instead, he deliberately ruffled Tang Shanshan's hair and said, "Study hard. From now on, I'll be your brother." Tang Shanshan, Thank you, brother. My brother lives on campus, and his bedroom has been empty for the past few months, but my mother would rather leave the room vacant than let me move in, because it's my brother's room. And in my mother's eyes, it seems like girls are inherently unclean. She has always demanded that when we take our daily baths, my brother goes first and I go after. From the age of 10, she made me wash the clothes for the whole family, with my brother's clothes washed first and mine only after all the others. Even when hanging the laundry to dry, my clothes and my brother's had to be kept separate. Tang Shanshan and I were in the same class, and my mother slipped her 200 yuan bills. "Shanshan, you've just transferred schools, so make sure you don't let yourself be mistreated at school." I watched this scene and mustered the courage to speak up. "Mom, I want to buy study materials. In my previous life, I worked for several years and was literally exhausted to death." My mind had grown somewhat numb, and I had forgotten many key points. I needed the materials. My mother's face suddenly darkened. "Why are you so unreasonable, always asking for money? Shan has lost her parents and is suffering in our home. The school has already given out so many materials. Isn't that enough for you to study? It's always the poor students who have the most stationery." I pursed my lips and said nothing. In my previous life, I was constantly trapped in immense mental exhaustion. As a result, my academic performance was never outstanding, always just average. It seems that asking my mother for money is not a viable option. On the way to school, Tang Shanshan looked down on the bus. I never used to take public transportation. She seemed quite aggrieved. I didn't make a sound, just stared out the car window, silent. Having lived through a past life, I couldn't possibly believe that Tang Shanshan was a stubborn but soft-hearted young lady. Some people are inherently selfish and self-serving. Tang Shanshan glanced at me, seemingly even more disdainful of my school uniform. "I heard your grades aren't good, and you won't get into college in 2 years. You might as well start working early." She had been trying to convince my mom to let me go out and work, so she could afford to go to college. With just my parents' meager income, they couldn't support her lavish lifestyle. I suddenly spoke up. "Tang Shanshan, the reason you were willing to be adopted by my parents, is it because you knew all along that my mom had a crush on your dad for many years? She is very clever. At her current age, if she were taken in by relatives, she would likely be taken advantage of and left with nothing. She must have investigated all the relatives as well. In the end, she still chose our family." Tang Shanshan's face turned pale. "I don't understand what you're talking about." Her attitude has already said it all. I have no way to wake my mother up with harsh words, even without Tang Shanshan. In my mother's eyes, I am just a money-losing burden who will eventually be married off. When I arrived at school, I went to the academic affairs office to apply for financial aid. However, the teacher did not review it and rejected me on the spot. "Student Wei, as far as I know, your family has just adopted a daughter, and all the adoption conditions are met. Your family does not meet the poverty requirements." I fell silent. Both of my parents are working professionals, but their money was spent on my brother and Tang Shanshan. They weren't poor, but I was. The teacher spoke earnestly. "Wei, focus all your energy on studying. Kids your age all like to spend money, but being too vain is not good for your growth." I didn't explain further. In this world, no one is obligated to understand anyone. Thus, the path of applying for financial aid was also blocked. I returned to the classroom in a daze. But fortunately, my textbooks quickly helped me regain focus. I love studying so much, and I cherish this second chance at life. I treasure every single minute and second. Even during breaks, I frantically review my lessons. The monthly exam is just a few days away, and it has been too long since I last touched my textbooks. Tang Shanshan is extremely popular. She is beautiful, has a difficult background, yet she can play the violin, in just one day after transferring here. She has made many friends. My deskmate asked me, "Is Tang Shanshan your family's adopted daughter? But she looks much more refined than you." Look, Zhang Jiaxue is also taking the initiative to talk to her. My hand, holding the pen, paused. Zhang Jiaxue, the boy I had a crush on for many years in my past life. Now, hearing this name again, I feel nothing inside. It has nothing to do with me. There is only one belief in my heart. Peke University, after school. Tang Shanshan and the other girls went back together. To save money, I planned to walk home. The buses that Tang Shanshan looked down on were the ones I had to be frugal to afford. Holding my English textbook, I walked while reciting vocabulary words. It's been too long since I last studied, and the current progress is a bit overwhelming for me. Suddenly, something blocked my path, and I almost tripped. Little girl, you're so focused. Be careful when you walk. I saw a plainly dressed woman around 50 years old, rummaging through a trash can. She neatly stacked the cardboard boxes she had rummaged out and tied them up. Auntie was not wealthy, but her smile was gentle. I rarely seemed to see such a smile. My mother always gave me a cold look, as if giving birth to me was such a terrible mistake. "Auntie, how much money can you make from collecting trash like this in a day?" My question came out abruptly, but there was no other way. I really needed the money. Because when my senior year of high school started, my mom didn't want me to continue my studies anymore. In my previous life, I had to kneel before my father to beg for my tuition. In this life, I don't want to be that humble. Fortunately, the aunt didn't find it abrupt. "It's not much, around 100 yuan, 100 a day. For me, it's enough." Suddenly, I felt my perspective broaden, and I saw a glimmer of hope. "Thank you, Auntie," I expressed my gratitude solemnly. "Everyone who has helped me is my benefactor." I put the textbooks into my backpack and also started rummaging through the trash can. I was young and agile, so I quickly found out where to sell used cardboard boxes. By 8 in the evening, I had already sold my first batch of trash, earning a modest sum of just 9 yuan. Yet for me, it was a ray of light. I didn't go home for dinner. Instead, I bought 2 steamed buns by the roadside for 2 yuan and hid the remaining 7 in my school bag. I think, if I can keep this up for a week, I'll be able to buy the reference books. When I got home, my parents and Tang Shanshan had already had dinner, but it seemed like none of them really cared whether I had eaten or not. However, I don't really care about their attitude anymore. After everyone had finished washing up, I went to the bathroom. After taking a quick shower and scrubbing my clothes clean, I retreated into my small cubicle and immersed myself in intense studying. A week later, I had reviewed all the knowledge points from the 3 years of junior high school and the first year of high school. The 78 yuan I had saved from selling scrap over the week was just enough to buy a few reference books. As I walked out of the bookstore holding the reference book, my heart felt like it was blooming with joy. The monthly exam arrived. I took every subject's exam seriously, as I expected. Many knowledge points had been forgotten, especially the major math problems. As my foundational knowledge was not proficient enough, after the monthly exam, I have a general understanding of my own capabilities. In my previous life, the immense emotional drain and my mother's constant criticism made it impossible for me to focus. She always called me stupid pig, worthless, and good for nothing. Over more than a decade of such criticism, I became insecure and began to doubt myself. But now it's different. I've already died once. I won't let anyone easily control my life again. Even if I'm just a wild grass, I will grow wildly. After the monthly exam, there was a day off. Instead of going home, I spent it picking up trash in the streets and alleys of South City. Occasionally, I would run into a few familiar classmates, but the opinions of others no longer affected me. I didn't have a phone and needed to save up to buy one, which would make it easier to practice listening. Arriving outside a KTV, I happened to run into some classmates from my class, and someone called out to me, "Wei Shu, he's the rich second generation in the class." She looked me up and down with an incredulous expression, as if picking up trash was some kind of big deal, even more surprising than encountering an alien. "Wei Shu, you, Why are you picking up trash? No way. Did your family go bankrupt? I was focused on selling it early to make money and then going home to study, so I smiled and brushed it off. Just experiencing life. Want to join me? The second-generation rich kid looked at me as if I were a fool, his face full of disdain as he stepped aside. Your sister is in the private room. The two of you don't seem like you're from the same world. Sister? What sister do I have? Is it Tang Shanshan? It has nothing to do with me. I still keep smiling, trying to gloss over everything with a smile, because, apart from getting into Peke University, nothing else matters. I placed the folded cardboard box on the trolley and prepared to leave. A tall and handsome boy walked over. It's Zhang Jiaxue. In my previous life, I would have been extremely nervous facing this scene. I also wouldn't have wanted my first love to see me in such a sorry state. However, at this moment, I just look at him indifferently. He will become Tang Shanshan's boyfriend. The person he likes is merely a superficially beautiful, affected girl. In my past life, after I died, I became a spirit and once followed him and Tang Shanshan. When Tang Shanshan mentioned me, Zhang Jiaxue just smiled faintly. She seemed very quiet. I don't really remember. My years of secret crush were probably just a joke in Zhang Jiaxue's eyes. Zhang Jiaxue frowned at me. Wei Shu, what's going on with you? Are you having difficulties at home? But Shanshan never mentioned it. I rolled my eyes inwardly. Tang Shanshan was the apple of my parents' eyes. How could she ever understand prejudice and poverty? Me, class monitor, I'm doing fine. If there's nothing else, I'll be going now. I pushed the cart and turned to leave. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of the shop window and saw Zhang Jiaxue watching me leave. He was the class monitor, excelling in both character and academics. And he always gave the girls the illusion that he cared deeply about a particular girl. That day, the scraps sold for 150 yuan. I was very satisfied. Just as I was about to head home, Tang Shanshan blocked my way in the hallway. She stood on the stairs, 2 steps above me, looking down at me from her elevated position. It was a holiday, so she wasn't wearing her school uniform. Instead, she had on an exquisitely crafted white dress, looking just like the heroine from a novel. With no one else around, Tang Shanshan showed her true colors. I heard from classmates that you went to collect scrap today. I really want to ignore her because my time is truly tight. Tang Shanshan, hand over the money, or I'll tell your mom. In my past life, I probably would have been scared, but at this moment, I ask her, tell my mom, and then what? Do you think my mom would stop me from earning my own money? She'd be thrilled, wouldn't she? Tang Shanshan choked, her mouth agape. She wanted to say more, but I cut her off. You can date Zhang Jiaxue, and I'll keep it a secret for you. In return, don't interfere with my affairs. My words hit her right where it hurt. She needed to maintain the image of a perfect daughter, so she couldn't be in a relationship at such a young age. But Zhang Jiaxue is an official's son, outstanding in both character and studies, handsome and tall, such a high-quality guy. She would definitely hold on to him. Tang Shanshan was moved. I continued to pressure her. If you don't agree, I'll tell my mom tonight that you're in a relationship. Tang Shanshan, hello, I won't tell on you, and you mustn't tell on me either. Me, deal, please step aside. Tang Shanshan made way, but as I passed by her, she pinched her nose, disgusted by my smell. I didn't care and went straight upstairs. My parents still don't care about me, so I can be a little quieter this way. I ate 2 steamed buns, took a shower, washed my clothes, and then hid alone in a small cubicle to read. Time passed quickly, and all I could hear was the occasional sound of turning pages. It turns out that without mental exhaustion, I can also throw myself into studying with such fervor. The storage room had only one small window, and as I was about to rest, I glanced outside. The streetlights were off, and stars twinkled in the sky, casting a faint glimmer into the endless darkness. The monthly exam results were soon released. Everything went as I had expected. The grades in each subject were not high, but they all passed. Zhang Jiaxue firmly held the top position in the grade, while Tang Shanshan, who had always been a promising student from a key school, ranked second in the class and within the top 20 in the grade. They became role models for the entire class. Even if the teachers noticed their excessive closeness, they would not interfere. After all, what could a top student possibly do wrong? That night, When my mom found out about Tang Shanshan's monthly exam results, she hugged her and called her, "Darling, our darling is so amazing, both beautiful and smart." Watching this scene, I felt a momentary daze. So, my mom could also hug someone else. I don't seem to remember ever being hugged by my mom since I was little. From the earliest memories I have, her gaze toward me has always been cold. Only when I helped her with a lot of household chores and obeyed her completely could I get a little bit of a kind look. In my past life, I was like a drowning person, craving that tiny bit of warmth, which made me extremely drained and almost unable to live and study normally. Tang Shanshan has a sweet mouth and is very good at coaxing people. "Auntie, I will definitely study hard and won't let you down." My mom finally remembered me, her loving expression disappearing. Wei Shu. "Look at Shanshan, she excels in every way. You're pulling a long face, so you must not have done well on the exam. You're just like your father, a blockhead, so stupid. How did I end up with a daughter like you? You might as well start working early." My dad fell silent. My mom was the class beauty back in the day. If she hadn't failed the college entrance exam, she wouldn't have chosen my dad. The only person in her heart is her old class monitor. I buried my head in my meal. I went out to collect scrap again this evening, feeling both exhausted and hungry. I had no time to pay attention to my mother. All my energy must be focused on studying. The monthly exam helped me better understand my weak areas. Am I stupid? Then I will put in 10 times more effort than others. After the monthly exam, there is a parent-teacher meeting, just like in my previous life. My mother only attended on behalf of Tang Shanshan, while my seat remained empty. However, the homeroom teacher knew about my family situation, and since Tang Shanshan was far better at studying than I was, the teacher didn't say anything. No one noticed that on the morning of the parent-teacher meeting, I had been hiding on the school rooftop, doing practice problems. When I heard someone coming up, I found a hidden spot to stay in, not wanting anyone to discover my secret study base. The people who arrived were Zhang Jiaxue and Tang Shanshan. I immediately recognized both of their voices. Tang Shanshan's voice was sweet and gentle, completely different from the attitude she showed when facing me. "Class monitor, I've only transferred here not long ago. Do you really like me? But you don't know me well. I heard that Wei Shu has a crush on you, even though she's a bit slow. She's quite pretty. Why don't you choose her?" Tang Shanshan's words were clearly laced with joy. Zhang Jiaxue's voice was very pleasant. "Wei Shu is a good girl, but academic performance is also important. I have to think about the future. Only by getting into a decent university can we have long-term development, and there won't be a generation gap in the future." I was taken aback. So that's how it is. Zhang Jiaxue had always given me the illusion that he liked me too. Perhaps he did like me, but he was more concerned about practical matters. In their previous life, both of them indeed got into Zhejiang University, but in this life, who said I want to attend a similar university as them? Zhang Jiaxue and Tang Shanshan kept whispering to each other. One moment they were complimenting each other, the next they were confessing their admiration for one another. I listened for a while, found it boring, and started working on practice problems. I had finished half of the test paper before Zhang Jiaxue and Tang Shanshan left. I was still over 100 points away from being the top student in my grade, and the gap between me and Tang Shanshan was about 80 to 90 points, but I was very confident in catching up. If I can't give it my all, what's the point of my rebirth? Isn't living all about following your heart and doing your best? After finishing an entire high school sophomore math exam, I checked the answers, and my accuracy had improved to around 80%. How wonderful, maybe I'm not that dumb. I just couldn't focus in my past life. At noon, I ate in the school cafeteria. As for when my mom would finish the parent-teacher meeting, I didn't care, and she wouldn't care about me either. In the afternoon, I went out to collect trash again. I was still over 300 yuan short of buying a cheap phone. With 2 more weeks of effort, I could finally have a phone to practice listening. My brother uses the latest model of iPhone, and Tang Shanshan's phone is also far ahead. Do my parents really think I don't need a phone? My father is timid, and my mother is selfish and narrow-minded. I can only rely on myself. At dusk, I accidentally found a black men's wallet with a decent texture. When I opened it, there was only an ID card inside. It's actually Gu Yi, the school bully. Looking at the address on the ID card, I realized he lives nearby. He lost his ID card, and I wonder if he's in a hurry about it. tomorrow is the weekend, and school doesn't start until the day after. Since I don't have Gu Yi's contact number, I might as well go directly to the address. I just didn't expect Gu Yi to live in a villa area. The security guard wouldn't let me in until he called the homeowner and got permission. However, I didn't meet Gu Yi, but rather Gu Chen, the top student from senior year of high school. He was very approachable, standing around 188 centimeters tall, yet without any intimidating presence. Thank you for bringing my brother's ID card over. His wallet was stolen. I was sweating all over, and after handing over my ID, I was about to leave, but Gu Chen stopped me. Wait, here's a handkerchief to wipe your sweat. I was taken aback. Nowadays, very few people use handkerchiefs anymore. I took the handkerchief, and Gu Chen asked again, is it convenient to add you on WeChat? I'll transfer you some money as a thank you. I quickly waved my hand. No need, senior. I just happened to pick up your brother's ID card while collecting recyclables. And since I was nearby, I brought it over. It was no trouble at all. Gu Chen was taken aback. You're from our school, you collect recyclables. I chuckled sheepishly. After all, he was practically a legend at our school. It was said he had turned down a guaranteed admission offer and was determined to take the college entrance exam on his own. I'm telling the truth. With nothing hidden, I thought he would look down on me. Unexpectedly, Gu Chen's smile grew even warmer. Then you're really impressive, balancing both studies and earning money. By the way, coincidentally, my family just threw out a batch of cardboard boxes. I can help you take them away. Me, isn't he a rich second generation? Still the top student. How can you be so down to earth? It was the first time I had met someone so brilliant yet so unassuming, as if guided by some mysterious force. Gu Chen actually helped me transport a large batch of cardboard boxes and even had the driver take them to the recycling station. I earned a total of 180. I was completely confused. It wasn't until Gu Chen had the driver take me to the building entrance and said, go back early. It's not safe for a girl to be out alone. I was stunned for a moment, then asked the question that had been on my mind. I'm just an ordinary person, but you're different. We're from different worlds. Why are you still willing to get close to me? Gu Chen smiled and said, you're mistaken, Junior. The greatest difference between people isn't status or ability, it's perception. You found my brother's ID card, and even though you're financially strapped, you made a special trip to return it. A girl like you deserves my respect. Besides, you're only in your teens and already earning your own money. For that alone, I have to tip my hat to you. I seem to understand something. I shouldn't live by the words of others. I shouldn't have taken my mother's words to heart. She said I was as stupid as a pig. But that's just her lack of insight. It has nothing to do with me. It's her own lack of cultivation. I got out of the car and bowed deeply to the person inside. Thank you, senior. I turned and ran home. My steps light and feeling more relaxed than ever before. Is it possible that I am actually a very good person myself? After the chance encounter with the top student in my senior year of high school, I studied even harder, feeling as energized as if I had been injected with adrenaline every day. Soon, the second monthly exam arrived. This time, I clearly felt that I had become much more comfortable handling various types of questions. There are only a few questions in each subject, and some of them I'm not quite sure about. However, I have a better understanding of my own situation. I also have a clearer idea of which direction I should work towards. Lately, I've been like a sponge, able to absorb knowledge endlessly. External opinions and parental neglect can no longer affect me in any way. On the day the results were announced, I sprinted to the foot of the teaching building and scanned the names on the bright red list from bottom to top. My heart was pounding wildly. Finally, I saw my name in the 6th position in the grade. I actually ranked 6th in the grade. Zhang Jiaxue remained the top student in the grade. This time, the gap between him and me was only a little over 30 points. The class erupted in an uproar, and even the homeroom teacher found it unbelievable. Zhang Jiaxue glanced at me several times, but I no longer needed his gaze. I sat in my seat, opened a senior high school math workbook, and began previewing the subjects for the final year. Little did I know, trouble still came knocking. One of Tang Shanshan's followers deliberately raised her voice. Some people's grades are just too strange. Even if they were riding a rocket, they couldn't possibly improve this fast. Shanshan didn't even make it into the top 10 of the grade. Could it be that someone cheated? With this person taking the lead, It wasn't long before others began to voice their doubts one after another. Tang Shanshan spoke with a hint of feigned innocence. Everyone, please don't question her just yet. My sister doesn't talk much usually, and she never goes home right after school. She's quite introverted, so you might not know her well. Even if she wanted to cheat, I doubt she could pull it off. I closed my book and said, I didn't cheat. Tang Shanshan immediately chimed in. How about this? Let's test Wei Shu on the spot. We'll put a math problem on the blackboard, and if Wei Shu can solve it, then everyone should stop doubting her. The classmates quickly agreed. When Tang Shanshan personally set the question and I saw the problem on the blackboard, I sneered inwardly. She was deliberately making things difficult for me. She even found a math problem from the senior year of high school that was beyond the syllabus. Tang Shanshan hypocritically encouraged me. Wei Shu, don't be afraid. As long as you solve this problem, no one will wrongfully accuse you. She wore a look of anticipation, dressed in her newly bought clothes. My mother was truly generous to her. Tang Shanshan then added, Wei Shu, you're not scared, are you? I stood up and walked straight to the podium, quickly solving the problem in front of my classmates. The class monitor exclaimed, this is an advanced problem beyond the syllabus. It seems Wei Shu didn't cheat. I'm not even sure I could solve it myself. I returned to my seat. Tang Shanshan's expression was grim, but she forced a smile and said, I told you, Wei Shu couldn't have cheated. Zhang Jiaxue kept watching me, but I pretended not to notice and continued working on my problems. After school, I went to the alley across from the school again to collect scrap. The money I've saved up will soon be enough to buy a phone. In my pocket, I still carry the key points from each subject that I've copied down. Whenever I get the chance, I take them out and review them. Strive not to waste a single moment. However, trouble came knocking once again. Tang Shanshan and her few followers were already waiting in the alley. Tang Shanshan shed all pretense, waving her hand to have the girls surround me. What are you going to do? Tang Shanshan raised her hand and slapped me. Wei Shu, you did so well on the exam. Are you trying to make me feel too ashamed to stay at home? Don't forget, it was your parents who insisted on adopting me. My head was ringing from the slap. I wanted to fight back, but several girls held me down. Tang Shanshan. At my previous school, I was the girl everyone looked up to, and everyone would listen to me. Your mother is madly in love with my father, and in her heart, I am far more important than you. I don't deny it. My mother is paranoid and selfish. She is still living in the dream of her youth. Her white moonlight died, so she took the white moonlight's daughter home. Tang Shanshan pinched my chin. I really hate your face. It's like the white lotus in a tragic drama. Don't think that just because you have a bit of good looks, Zhang Jiaxue and the others will give you a second glance. I actually wasn't angry, because I understood the hidden meaning in her words. She is jealous. Did something happen between her and Zhang Jiaxue? However, at this moment, I am very clear-headed. I just want to study quietly and have no intention of competing with Tang Shanshan, because, in this life, neither Zhang Jiaxue nor my family matters. Zhang Jiaxue likes you. And he only likes you. I deliberately flattered Tang Shanshan. There was no other way. I really couldn't beat these girls. Tang Shanshan was baffled and got angry again. She still wanted to hit me. At that moment, a basketball suddenly flew over and hit Tang Shanshan right on the head. Tang Shanshan fell down in a sorry state, no longer delicate and cute. Looking into the distance, two tall boys were walking toward us. It was the two Gu brothers. Gu Chen frowned deeply, his gaze fixed on me. Gu Yi is the school bully, and he speaks first. This is my turf, and someone dares to be more arrogant than me. Wei is under my protection. Who dares to touch him? Several girls flee in panic. Tang Shanshan originally wanted to play the innocent victim, but unfortunately, she had already revealed her true nature earlier, making it hard to continue the act, so she could only run away as well. I really wanted to thank him, but I froze in place, unsure of what to say. Gu Yi scratched his head. Since you helped me get my ID back, I can reluctantly protect you, but you need to remember clearly, don't fall for me. I couldn't help but laugh. These two brothers were really different. I guess I was being bullied, but at this moment, my mood wasn't the least bit heavy. In my previous life, Tang Shanshan always looked down on me, as if I were worthless in her eyes, but in this life, she has already started to fear me. It shows that I have truly become stronger, seeing that I could still smile. Gu Chen smiled too. Classmate Wei Shu, many people in this world are not so lucky. They have to rely on themselves to survive. I've heard a bit about your situation. I truly admire you for continuing to study and live normally. My younger brother is also in his second year of high school, and he will protect you in the future. Gui rolled his eyes. He was a school bully, but he was also afraid of his older brother. Yeah, after parting ways with the Gu brothers, I followed my plan to collect scrap, not letting Tang Shanshan's provocation delay me. I always kept my main mission in mind. By the time I got home, it was already past 9 in the evening. Mom, Dad, Tang Shanshan is in the living room, seeing me return. Tang Shanshan couldn't wait to criticize me. Uncle, Auntie, I really saw Wei Shu dating the school bully. She's still underage. You must discipline her and not let her go down the wrong path. My mom seemed instantly ignited, pointing at me and yelling, "You useless thing, you're already dating at such a young age, and with the school bully, how dare you even try to seduce someone?" I didn't say a word. I even think my mom and Tang Shanshan are both crazy. The gap between people is really huge. Gu Chen is only in his teens, yet his understanding and perspective surpass those of my parents. I wanted to go back to the small room, but my mom grabbed my wrist. With a strong force, she turned my body around and slapped me directly. This is the second slap I've received today. It hurts, but it also made me increasingly clear-headed. This clarity was like becoming a different person. I no longer considered problems with the mindset of my past life. I couldn't resist. My mother would definitely side with Tang Shanshan. I had to endure, wait until the time is ripe, then leave without a trace. Having been reborn with such difficulty, I should not waste even a shred of energy dealing with chaos and conflict. Those who have long endured despair and oppression become numb to the point of self-persecution, attacking themselves mentally. I immediately recalled Gu Chen's words. He said I was anything but ordinary. He also said that he admits defeat to me. That's right. I am a very good person. The bad people are my mom and Tang Shanshan. I gave in. Mom, I know I was wrong. I promise I won't dare do it again. Only then did my mom let me off the hook. I didn't look at any of their expressions, because it didn't matter. Back in the cubicle, I leaned over the desk, opened the exercise book, and within a minute, I was completely immersed in selfless studying. With Gu Yi's threat hanging over her, Tang Shanshan didn't openly target me. Before I knew it, the end of the semester had arrived. I had a new phone, but I didn't add any friends. The phone was just a tool for my studies. This time, I learned my lesson. To avoid Tang Shanshan causing me trouble again and disrupting my study plan, I deliberately controlled my scores. For almost every subject, I kept my accuracy rate at around 80%. Not outstanding, but not bad either, as I expected. Tang Shanshan noticed my grades had slipped and were far below hers, and she regained her smugness. Tang Shanshan even deliberately flaunted in front of me, "Wei Shu, it seems your last exam ranking in the top 10 of the grade was just a coincidence. When it comes to studying, it's all about talent, is that so? But pushing oneself to the extreme is also a kind of talent." I ignored Tang Shanshan's boasting. I need absolute peace and quiet right now. When I got home, my dad pulled me aside for a talk. He was very handsome in his youth, and he still looks good now. It's just a shame he doesn't have much talent. I heard he was a poor student back in the day. The years have worn away his sharpness. My dad asked, "Wei Shu, why have your grades slipped again? Weren't you in the top 10 of your grade in the last monthly exam?" I brushed it off. Last time was just luck. I happened to get the right types of questions. My dad sighed. "You're my daughter, and you really aren't up to it. Shan Shan is the class monitor's child. She has good genes, is that so? But as a father, when has he ever given me help and encouragement? Is it really just a genetic issue?" In this final exam, I could have scored better than Tang Shanshan. I calculated those questions I intentionally left blank. I could have gotten them right. My father turned and walked away, as if he no longer held any expectations for me. I called out to him, "Dad." Dad turned back. I asked the question that had haunted me for many years. "Dad, when you were young, why didn't you push yourself harder? Mom always complained about your incompetence. So why did you marry her? Isn't it good for my mom to go find her beloved class monitor? My dad could also find a woman who truly cares for him." My dad just smiled foolishly. Time had worn away all his ambition. I never liked studying since I was young. so how could I possibly do well? As for your mom, I really liked her back then. And it just so happened that she was going through a tough time and needed money. My family could afford the bride price, so we got married. I didn't say anything more. Perhaps, life should not be compromised, nothing should be, give it your all, so you have no regrets. It's the new year, and my grandmother has come to my house, but I know, she was kicked out by my aunt. Even so, my grandmother still privately reminded my mother, you are the older sister, you need to help your brother more. You only have one brother. I was in the cubicle, just able to hear the commotion in the kitchen. Even now, my grandmother is still helping my uncle suck blood. It is said that back then, my mother didn't give up because she was a poor student, but rather to make way for her younger brother. My mother was in a difficult position. Mom, you've seen the family situation. The eldest hasn't graduated from college yet and will need to buy a house and get married in the future. Right now, there are still 2 daughters in school. How could I possibly have spare money to support your son? My grandmother was displeased. Wei Shu is not that young anymore. In another year or 2, she can go out to work. After all, she'll get married someday. What's the point of studying so much? The daughter of the Jin Feng family in the village went out to work at 18 and even bought her brother a car last year. Without hesitation, my mother nodded in agreement. Factories don't hire child laborers now, once Wei Shu turns 18. We'll send her to an electronics factory in Guangdong. Grandma came up with another bad idea. Didn't you adopt a daughter? I think that child is pretty and clever. Why not just marry her off to your eldest brother? It would save a dowry. I was stunned. Grandma wants Tang Shanshan to marry my brother. But how could Tang Shanshan possibly be interested in my brother? Grandma's calculations are truly shrewd. In others' mouths, grandmothers are the epitome of truth, kindness, and beauty. My grandmother, however, is like the big bad wolf. Why specifically target women to exploit? Girls are merely of a different gender. They are not born guilty. At that moment, a young man's cough interrupted the conversation in the kitchen. It's my brother. He heard everything. No wonder. In my past life, my brother was always exceptionally kind to Tang Shanshan. He couldn't really like Tang Shanshan, could he? My brother, Grandma, Mom, let's all go shopping this afternoon. We can buy Shanshan a few new outfits while we're at it. It's her first new year with our family. Both Grandma and Mom were very much in favor. I closed the math test paper I was working on, switched to a Chinese language test paper, and continued doing practice questions. The desire to escape this home grows stronger by the day. I was so immersed in the mindset of language studies that after finishing an entire exam paper, I felt as though I had lost track of time, exhausted, yet fulfilled. When I stepped out of the small cubicle, I realized the house was empty, and I hadn't even noticed. As the family returned happily from the mall, I was eating a bowl of plain boiled noodles, the moment a few people entered the door. Their smiles abruptly stopped. How strange. It was as if I were some kind of plague. However, Tang Shanshan quickly regained her sweet demeanor. In front of my parents, she treated me as if I were her own sister. Wei Shu, Auntie bought new clothes for both of us. Come over and try them on quickly. I can't remember how long it's been since I last bought new clothes. I wear my school uniform almost every day. Fortunately, the windbreaker from No. 1 high school can keep out the cold. I didn't argue and complied with them very obediently, because I understand that any conflict consumes energy, and that energy should only be focused on my studies, whether it was unintentional on my part or intentional on Tang Shanshan's. She made me see the price tags on the clothes clearly. Mine was 129 yuan, while her cashmere coat was 899 yuan. One of her clothes costs more than my phone, but I didn't say a word, nor did I show any sign of dissatisfaction. I put on a cheap cotton jacket, which was goose yellow and complemented my skin tone. Grandma looked at me as if I were a commodity waiting to be priced, probably thinking about how much bride price a girl like me could sell for. Grandma nudged my mom with her elbow. My mom understood immediately and, surprisingly, even gave me a rare smile. This girl has grown into her looks, not so ugly anymore. Tang Shanshan was wearing a high-end cashmere coat and should have been happy, but after sizing me up a few times, her expression turned sour. I made a few perfunctory remarks, then went back to the small cubicle alone, quickly took off my cotton jacket, folded it into a block, and placed it under my bottom. I will not become the merchandise they sell, outside the house. My mother muttered in a low voice. She walks around with a long face all day, as if the whole family owes her something. Grandma smiled kindly, but her words sent a chill down my spine. In a few years, Wei Shu can fetch a bride price of several 100,000 yuan, which can then be used for the eldest son's wedding. Only then did my mother's tone soften. At least she's of some use. I couldn't help but sneer. Since Mom had once been caught in the rain, why did she have to tear up my umbrella? I opened the college entrance exam papers and started practicing mock questions ahead of time, my brain automatically blocking out all the noise outside the room. Knowledge points danced endlessly in my mind, and my inner universe gradually expanded, growing boundlessly. Soon, the senior class will officially take the college entrance exam. Although it's not my turn yet, I'm equally nervous. For Gu Chen, he is an academic genius, my role model, and an exceptional person. Of course, I hope he achieves excellent results. I never disturbed Gu Chen until the college entrance exam scores were released. Gu Chen scored a total of 718 points, making him the top science student in the province. I wrote down the score of 718 in my notebook. Staring at this number, my heart was filled with immense joy. The next college entrance exam is still a year away. Can I achieve the same? The goal became even clearer. I was even ambitious enough to write 730 next to 718. I wanted to challenge Gu Chen. And I also wanted to challenge myself during the summer vacation between my sophomore and junior years of high school. I went out for a morning run at 5 o'clock every day, casually ate 2 steamed buns outside, and then came back to lock myself in the small room, entering a crazy problem-solving mode. Everything outside seems to have nothing to do with me. After 6 o'clock every evening, I go out to collect scrap. Over time, the aunties who collect scrap have started to recognize me. If there's a neighborhood undergoing renovations with a lot of scrap, they even let me know in advance. Once the dog days of summer arrive, the small room is poorly ventilated and doesn't have air conditioning. Every morning when I wake up, I'm basically drenched in sweat, but as long as I can guarantee at least 4 hours of quiet problem solving each day, I feel incredibly fulfilled and happy. That day, I had a nightmare. I dreamed that on the eve of the college entrance exam, I deliberately avoided the milk my mother brought me. But little did I know that Tang Shanshan and my brother had slipped sleeping pills into my water. I rushed desperately to the exam hall, but I was still late, forced to let fate mercilessly push me into the abyss. Tang Shanshan mocked me. You're only meant to work menial jobs. Going to work early is your destiny. My brother, you're the girl in the family. If you don't work to help support the household, who will? I'm your brother. So you should sacrifice for me. I woke from the nightmare, terrified, but soon, I began to console myself. As long as it hasn't actually happened yet, there's still room for things to change. I went back to studying. In this life, I will not give them any chance to persecute me. My fate is in my hands alone. I started studying frantically and saving money desperately. By the time the college entrance exam arrives, I cannot stay in this home. They need a tool that can make money, not a college daughter who spends it. The summer vacation ended in the blink of an eye, and I was immersed in the ocean of knowledge, unable to extricate myself. My little savings stash had nearly reached 5,000, and I carefully stored it away, hiding it very discreetly. I was extremely cautious about every single matter. Gu Chen is the top scholar, the idol of everyone at No. 1 high school. At the end of August, he bid farewell to everyone on the school forum. I kept staring at the last sentence over and over. Keep going. I'll be waiting for you at Peke University, waiting for you, not waiting for all of you. I shook my head. I must be overthinking things. However, upon learning that Gu Chen was about to depart for City B, I quietly made my way to the high-speed rail station. The reason I knew he was leaving today and that he would be taking the high-speed rail was because we had recently added each other on WeChat, and he had posted a moment about it. I had thought that many students from our high school would come to see him off, but when I arrived at the South City high-speed rail station, I only saw the Gu family. I didn't dare to approach, so I hid in the distance and watched for a while longer, until Gu Chen left the waiting hall. The top student was gone. 1 year later, I too would board that high-speed train, heading to Peke University. Just as I was about to turn and leave, someone suddenly pressed a hand on my shoulder. I was startled. Turning around, I met a pair of pitch black eyes. Gui stood with one hand on his hip, a faint, teasing smile on his face, exuding a youthful air. What are you doing here? Is it to see my brother off? Why are you sneaking around? Do you have a crush on my brother? I suddenly bristled. I didn't, I'm not. You're talking nonsense. But Gui seemed not to hear. Continuing on his own, actually, you're quite good looking. Even prettier than Tang Shanshan in your class. It's just that your style is a bit outdated, and you seem a bit slow. Are you a little fool? Me? You're the little fool. Gui, my brother likes smart girls. He doesn't care about appearances, only values what's inside. I suggest you study hard. By the way, my brother specifically told me yesterday to protect you and watch out for you. So, this year, just focus on preparing for the college entrance exam. I was stunned. The top student actually remembers me, Gui sneered. How dare you say you don't have a crush on my brother? Feeling guilty, I turned and ran. A secret crush? No, Gu Chen is more like a beacon in the darkness, illuminating the path I should take. He gave me more confidence in myself and made me realize the differences between people. In the days that followed, I didn't contact the top student. But every time I get tired from studying, I open his social media feed, every few days. He shares photos of Peke University's campus, like the cafeteria food, the basketball hoops on the sports field, the books in the library. These pictures make my longing more concrete and vivid. I also yearn to experience that kind of life firsthand. Half a year passed, and I devoted myself wholeheartedly to studying. Each time, I managed to keep my scores at an 80% accuracy rate. And I controlled them so precisely that even my sharp-eyed homeroom teacher noticed something was off. The homeroom teacher called me in for a talk. I told the truth. For a moment, the homeroom teacher felt a mix of emotions. Classmate Tang Shanshan, you seem fine on the surface, but appearances can be deceiving. Since you're hiding your true abilities, I won't force you, I solemnly said. Teacher, I just want to quietly get through my senior year of high school without encountering any setbacks. My foundation is not solid, and I need a lot of time and energy. The homeroom teacher smiled with relief. All right, I understand. I look forward to your final college entrance exam results. The teacher actually seemed a bit excited. As for me, I gradually shifted from initial excitement to calmness. After numerous mock exams, I gained a clearer understanding of my own capabilities. Thus, while everyone else was anxiously preparing for the exams, I, on the contrary, began to relax. Finally, it was once again the season of the college entrance examination. My brother came back ahead of time, and he, along with my mother, resorted to their old tricks, attempting to persuade me to give up on the college entrance exam and start working earlier. After all, Tang Shanshan spends too much. Moreover, my brother has his own calculations. He wants to buy a house and get married, but with his abilities, it's impossible to achieve. He will exploit me as much as possible. In this life, my mother asked me to give up the college entrance exam a week in advance. She was unusually amiable and even peeled an apple for me. Wei Shu. My mother had always preferred to call me by my full name, but when she called Tang Shanshan, she always used her nickname. I looked at her calmly, as if she were a stranger, without even a trace of hatred. I even think she is just a pitiful creature. She regarded the old squad leader's daughter as the child of a departed friend. Yet Tang Shanshan only saw her as a tool. That deceased old squad leader probably never took her seriously either. She herself is a victim of the outdated practice of favoring sons over daughters. My mother continued, your brother will graduate from college in a year, and he still hasn't found a job. He'll be at the age to get married soon, and our family can't afford to support 2 daughters through college. Your grades aren't good enough, and you can't compare to Shan Shan. She was entrusted to us by the old class monitor on his deathbed, so we have a responsibility to her. Since you won't get into college anyway, you should start working early. It would be a great help to me. You're my daughter. If you don't support me, who will? I listened to my mother's absurd reasoning without arguing or offering any comment. Okay, I pretended to agree, because I had already rented a place outside, to avoid giving them any chance to target me. I cannot allow my path to the college entrance exam to suffer even the slightest persecution or threat. My mother didn't seem to notice that something was wrong with me. She was very happy. That's great. Having a daughter is much easier. I didn't give birth to you in vain. Enduring the nausea in my stomach, I silently packed my belongings. All my things combined couldn't even fill a canvas bag. Moving is very convenient. Little Tiger bought file anti-piracy. Find a book robot, choose Little Tiger. Stable and reliable, no stepping into pits. When I left home carrying a canvas bag, my dad was leaning on the balcony smoking. He remained silent all along, like an outsider. Perhaps he had chosen to give up many years ago, compromising with life. From the room I used to live in, the cheerful laughter of my mother and Tang Shanshan drifted out. Tang Shanshan, Auntie, don't worry. I will definitely get into a good university and won't let you down. My mother was especially gentle. Shanshan, you're amazing, you're my favorite. Just focus on your preparations, and don't worry about the university tuition. Wei Shu has already agreed to go out and work. I didn't even look back as I left this so-called home. I had limited cash on hand, and the place I rented was just a single room, but I was already quite satisfied. But I never expected that I had still underestimated Tang Shanshan. That very night, she showed up at my door with two troublemakers from a technical school. I am very surprised. Her intelligence exceeded my expectations. Tang Shanshan threw out a test paper, which had my handwriting on it and was a perfect score on a mock exam. Tang Shanshan said righteously, "What's going on here? You're not secretly studying, are you, Wei Shu? I advise you to give up as soon as possible and go out to work early." I looked at her in disbelief. Even if my parents couldn't let down the old class monitor, I don't owe her anything. Me, Tang Shanshan, even if I study in secret, it has nothing to do with you, right? Tang Shanshan, however, said with righteous indignation, "My father is the class monitor and has always been outstanding in both character and academics. Your father is just a poor student, so you can only be a poor student too. Your brother only got into a second-tier liberal arts college. Don't even try to fight it. You're just destined to be a supporting character, female supporting character." What is she talking about? But what if I don't believe in fate? I don't understand where Tang Shanshan's train of thought comes from, as if in her eyes, I should also unconditionally give everything for her. Tang Shanshan threatened me, "You move out of here tonight. You must go out and work, otherwise, I won't let you off. Also, don't resist, because I can always easily find you." The two vocational school students behind her whistled at me. I clenched my fists, but I still endure. Actually, I could call the police. However, nothing is more important than the college entrance exam, because that is my only path, the origin of my dreams, and the beginning of my escape from fate. Me, fine, I'll leave. Only then was Tang Shanshan satisfied. I wandered aimlessly around the southern city, still carrying my canvas bag. My mind was filled with thoughts of the college entrance exam and the three words Tang Shanshan had mentioned, destined to be a supporting female character. How strange, why can she find me so easily? I walked onto the street, crying helplessly. This was the first time I had cried since my rebirth. Could it be that fate truly exists? But why must I only be a supporting character? I haven't done anything wrong. I was simply born a girl. Perhaps it's unwillingness. I'm still fighting. I will never give up until the very last moment. I held my phone, and the contacts inside only included the homeroom teacher, the Gu brothers, and a few aunties who collected scrap. Gu Qinyuan was far away in City B, so he definitely couldn't help me. If I contacted the homeroom teacher, Tang Shanshan might find out. I had no other choice, so I dialed Gu Yi's WeChat voice call. Half an hour later, Gu Yi took a taxi and found me. Seeing me in such a disheveled state, he scratched his head and asked, "What's going on, little fool? Were you robbed?" I cried so hard I could barely catch my breath. The long period of repression and pain made me completely let go at that moment, to the point where I couldn't even hold back. It wasn't that I was truly heartbroken or fragile. I'm just too tired, too tired. I rambled incoherently. "Can I stay at your place for a few days? I can even sleep in the garage, and I'll pay you. In the future, I promise I'll pay you back a lot of money." Gu Yi was stunned for a moment, then pulled me into the car. "Do I need your little money? Girls are so annoying, always crying at the drop of a hat. Tell me, were you bullied? Was it Tang Shanshan again? I could tell from the start that she's a green tea. Gu Yi is the school bully, and everyone is afraid of him. But at this moment, I find him particularly endearing. My entire family has abandoned me, yet an outsider has offered me a glimmer of warmth. This world is truly strange." Arriving at the villa, I was still crying. A noblewoman came down from upstairs, glanced at me a few times, and immediately grabbed a feather duster, chasing after Gu-yi to hit him. You brat, if you don't study hard, that's one thing, but you're out there messing with girls. Tell me, what did you do to her? Why is she still crying? Me, the feather duster struck Gu-yi's buttocks, making loud slapping sounds. I quickly explained. After I explained the situation, the noblewoman froze. Casually tossing aside the feather duster as if she had never hit her son, the noblewoman smiled with narrowed eyes. I thought it was something serious. Then stay, this girl is really pretty, it's just, she looks a bit familiar, as if I've seen her somewhere before. I waved my hand. Auntie, I'm very ordinary, you definitely haven't seen me before. Then, I'll just stay in a corner somewhere. I won't disturb you all. Having a place to stay and being able to complete the college entrance exam was already my greatest wish. The wealthy woman suddenly grabbed my hand and led me upstairs. Did you save a little raccoon cat 3 years ago? I know where I've seen you before. My eldest son has a photo of you. I never expected that the wealthy woman would pull me into the top student's room. I froze. Can I enter a boy's room? In the past, my mother never allowed me to enter my brother's room. As if I were some kind of filth, the lady pointed to the photo on the wall. There are photos of picking up trash, cleaning, and helping an old lady cross the street. Below the photo frame, a line of bold handwriting reads, "Resilient Rose." My face burned with embarrassment. How could the top student have my photos? The lady explained. My eldest son has a passion for photography. He mentioned you before, saying there's an exceptionally resilient junior at school. That's you. He also said he wants to learn from you, never compromising in the face of any difficulty. I was momentarily speechless. The academic prodigy is my role model, yet he wants to learn from me. The lady let me stay in the top student's room temporarily. This is a suite with a separate study and bathroom, perfect for moving in, I stammered. But, I'm a girl, the senior might mind. The lady pressed my shoulder, not allowing me to leave. Mind what? That kid often does good deeds. The cat you saved was his cat. It just passed away from illness last year. My nose tingled, and I couldn't help but cry again. It's so strange. When my mother hits or scolds me, I can't even cry. Why does the kindness of a noble lady make me shed tears? I have rarely received such kindness. Why are you all so good to me? The lady smiled and said, it's not that we are good to you, but that you yourself are good. Your good karma is all accumulated by you. Our 2 sons don't help others for no reason. I choked up, repeatedly emphasizing, I will pay you back in the future, probably because I have never received unconditional love, so, I always want to repay others' kindness to the greatest extent possible. Gui snorted, that's hilarious. Do you think I, the young master, would lack money? What, is your family trying to harm you? I pursed my lips. Gui, damn, what kind of poor little thing are you? I froze, shaking my head. No. I'm not pitiful. In my past life, perhaps I would have thought myself pitiful, but I no longer want to place myself in the role of a victim, nor am I some supporting female character. As the top student said, I am a resilient rose. Roses are indeed bright and beautiful, but wild roses can also bloom freely. During the week I hid at the Gu family's house, Tang Shanshan did not come looking for me. As the college entrance exam approached, I refused to have any contact with my family and completely distanced myself from Tang Shanshan, cutting off all possibilities of suffering persecution. The college entrance exam ended, and everything went smoothly. I can even silently estimate my score in my mind. I feel a sense of excitement and unreality. Can I really get into Peke University? Last year, only the top student got in. Can I do it too? I am not nervous and can estimate my approximate score. Next, all I need to do is wait quietly. Before the results were announced, I expressed my intention to leave and promised to repay the Gu family. However, the noble lady insisted on keeping me. She could see that I was stubborn and offered me a job opportunity. My home is short of a caretaker, with over a dozen cats. I simply can't manage them all. Why don't you stay and work here over the summer break? I hesitated. The lady of the house held onto my arm, even resorting to acting cute and pleading. Could you bear to see your aunt heartbroken? I'm already middle-aged and can't handle such a blow. Me, so, this is how people can interact with each other. My mother has never treated me like this before. I stayed behind and became a caretaker at the villa. The dozen or so cats were all taken care of extremely well, and I really enjoyed it. A few days later, my mother sent me a message. Shanshan said she did well on this exam. Probably got a high score. She's about to go to college, so you must send your earnings home. Our family must support Shanshan through her studies. I didn't reply. My mother urged again. Have you found a job yet? How much is the monthly salary? Does it include food and accommodation? Girls shouldn't spend money recklessly. Your brother isn't married yet. Why should Tang Shanshan's tuition and the money for my brother's wedding be squeezed out of me? I didn't confront my mother because it was pointless. To avoid further harassment from my mother, I lied to her and replied with a single word, okay. The results finally came out, and I felt unusually calm, but the noble lady and Gui were trembling with nervousness. I was sandwiched between the mother and son, the three of us sitting on the sofa with a laptop placed on the coffee table. Gui, who had always been fearless, now sounded panicked. Check hers first. I, on the other hand, remained calm and directly entered my exam admission ticket and ID information. When the score popped up, it was indeed blocked, and there was a line of small text below. Gui blinked. Holy shit, the top 50 scores in the province are temporarily blocked. Poor thing, you're a damn exam monster too. Top 50. But it's still far from enough. I want to go to Peke University. I want to be the top scorer. I want to break through the clouds. I want to change my fate. The noblewoman hugged me tightly. Oh my, Shoo, little Shoo, sure, you are just too amazing. My mother has always called me by my full name. I never knew I could be addressed like that. The lady mercilessly checked Gui's score, which was 290. As if it was expected, Gui held his head in his hands, looking dazed. The lady ruthlessly mocked him. We're both human. How can our brains be so different? Gui, Mom, you're attacking me personally. The lady, I'm telling the truth. Should we take you to get your brain checked, or maybe, go for a paternity test? Could it be that you were switched at birth? Gui bristled. Mom, don't I have any dignity? The lady was even more ruthless. Is dignity more important, or are grades more important? Gui, I was amused. This household is truly harmonious. Even Mr. Gu comes home every night with a kind and gentle expression. When my scores came out, the lady of the house was even more excited. 732, top scorer. The top scorer in science. My eldest is a top scorer, and you are too. Woo-woo, why aren't you my daughter? I was taken aback. My mother didn't want me. She saw me as a tool for making money, but it turns out, there was someone who wanted me as a daughter. On this day, my homeroom teacher sent me a message saying that school leaders would be visiting my home. I temporarily bid farewell to the Gu family and planned to return home for a while. The lady reluctantly said, come visit often when you have time. My eldest son is staying at school for the summer break. Otherwise, you two could catch up. You're both top scholars. Girls are truly amazing, so beautiful and smart. I smiled brightly. XAOHUBO circled greater than document anti-piracy stamp circled greater than bookfinding robot heavy checkmark. Choose it and you're right. Steady and reliable without stepping on any landmines. In the eyes of others, I am also a beautiful and intelligent girl. In my own mother's eyes, I am a foolish pig, a worthless thing. This time coming home is not only to host the school's leaders. Additionally, I need to tell the teacher that the admission letter doesn't have to be sent to my home anymore, because I previously filled in my home address. I need to change the delivery location. When I arrived home, the living room was filled with celebration, all for Tang Shanshan's congratulations. Seeing me return, my mother only gave me a cold glance, her face full of sarcasm. Why are you back instead of working hard? Shan is definitely getting into a top-tier university this time, so send money back as soon as possible. I have nothing to fear now. The college entrance exam is over, and everything is settled. I can finally resist without any hesitation. What does her tuition have to do with me? I don't owe her anything. My mother looked at me in disbelief. She probably didn't expect that I would also resist. My mother, everyone is born different. Shanshan has a good fate, while you have a bad one. You're a life-taker. Tang Shanshan chimed in with a smile. Wei Shu, where exactly have you been working? Working girls are prone to getting pregnant before marriage, so you better not mess around with men. Girls who act recklessly will lose their value. She knows exactly how to provoke me, but I no longer see her as a rival at all. Suddenly, a saying came to mind. When a bird on a branch chirps loudly at a person, the person doesn't fight back, because birds and humans are not of the same kind. My mother chimed in, Shanshan is right, girls should have self-respect, work for a few years first, and once your brother gets married and Shanshan graduates from college, I'll arrange a matchmaking for you. My mother has my worth all figured out. First, squeeze out all my value before marriage, then extort the bride price. I remained silent, quietly waiting for the school leaders. My mother continued to praise Tang Shanshan. Our Shanshan is so promising, with a score of 554, she's definitely getting into a top-tier university. I was thinking to myself, 554 points did indeed surpass the first-tier university cutoff, but it would still be somewhat difficult to get into a better university and major. My grandmother was also at my house. She seemed like a kind-hearted person and always prided herself on being a good person. She often had the words, kind-hearted, on her lips. At this moment, however, my grandmother said, Wei Shu, you should work hard, and in a few years, find a well-off family to marry into. That way, you can also help your brother. I didn't speak, remaining silent all along. The differences between people are truly vast, perhaps, in my grandmother's heart. She sees herself as a kind person. Moreover, she would also believe that it is perfectly normal for a girl to support her older or younger brothers. If she doesn't help, she is considered selfish and unkind. My brother came back from college, and he just sat in the living room, tacitly agreeing with Grandma's words. A college student in his 20s. Does he really have no morals? No, he just takes advantage of things as if it's only natural, since I hadn't said a word. My mother suddenly walked over and jabbed my forehead hard with her finger. You little mute, who are you sulking at? You have a weird temper and a problematic personality. You're going to suffer big losses in the future. You're no good at studying, you're useless, and no one will ever like you. My mother hurled every vicious insult at me. It seemed as if she couldn't wait to crush me into the dust. My father and my brother always silently condoned my mother's behavior. Grandma, on the other hand, wished I could swear on the spot to become a brother-supporting demon. When the school leaders and homeroom teacher came to our door, the entire living room fell silent. My dad was the first to react. Top scorer, who? My mom asked. Our Shanshan scored over 500 points. Is she the top scorer? The homeroom teacher looked somewhat embarrassed. He glanced at me and smiled, saying, the top scorer is Wei Shu, and she broke the previous science top scorer's record. Barely losing any points, both Tsinghua and Peking University's admissions offices are fighting over her. Another eerie silence followed. My mother froze completely. My grandmother, like a quail, stood there dazed and unresponsive. My brother stood up from the sofa, blinking incessantly. Dad walked up to me, his eyes slightly red, his hands trembling as he pulled me into a tight embrace. However, the next moment, I stepped aside to avoid it. I don't really need this belated affection. My mother spoke up at this moment. You went to take the college entrance exam, you child. How could you not tell the family after participating in the exam? The teacher found it utterly baffling. A senior high school student would naturally take the college entrance exam. Where else would they go? Even at this point, my grandmother was still thinking about work. After graduating as the top scorer, will you be able to earn more money? Then your brother will have to rely on you. I suddenly sneered. Is that so? Grandma, you let my uncle mooch off you and my mom all day, so he's a good-for-nothing. Now you want my brother to become a good-for-nothing too. My brother was left speechless. Grandma huffed angrily. This child, what are you saying? I only have your family's best interests at heart. I didn't want to keep arguing, so I smiled and said to the teacher, Teacher, my address has changed. If the admission letter arrives, please send it to this new address. I gave the teacher the address of the Gu family's villa. After handling these matters, I intended to leave. My father stopped me. We're all family. Don't be angry with your mother. My mother seemed unable to process it. After all, she had always looked down on my father. In her eyes, aside from his good looks, my father had nothing to offer, and I just happened to inherit his handsome features. My brother was equally incredulous. He had barely managed to get into a second-tier liberal arts college, and after graduation, he still had no idea what to do next. Tang Shanshan was even more ridiculous, acting all aggrieved. She ran into her room crying and locked herself inside. My mom panicked and hurried over to knock on the door. Shanshan, Shanshan, don't lose heart, you're already very outstanding. The teacher watched this scene unfold, her expression growing increasingly complicated. People from the city soon came knocking, bringing a reward with them. My mother perked up. That's wonderful. With a 50,000 yuan reward, you can split it evenly with Shanshan. Both of your college expenses will be covered. How utterly ridiculous. Why should my reward be shared with Tang Shanshan? I received the bonus directly from the city leader and ruthlessly threatened my mother. I am the top scorer, and the TV station will interview me. If you dare lay a hand on me again, I will ruin your reputation. My mother finally backed down. As I left with the bonus, I saw a banner already hanging in the neighborhood. Many neighbors would come to visit. However, none of it has anything to do with me anymore. I will never appear in this place again. When the new semester begins, I will also transfer my household registration to the school. The distant sky is as clear as washed blue, and with light steps, my heart grows brighter. Finally, after 2 years, I have completely distanced myself from my family of origin. That day, I went to school to take care of some matters, and Zhang Jiaxue was actually waiting for me at the school gate. I was quite surprised. Is there something you need from me, class monitor? He also seemed to have scored well enough for a first-tier university, but I didn't pay attention to which specific school he could attend. If I remember correctly, both Zhang Jiaxue and Tang Shanshan didn't perform well this time, scoring several dozen points lower than their usual mock exams. Zhang Jiaxue stood before me, his eyes behind the glasses appearing deeply affectionate. I broke up with Tang Shanshan. Me, oh, that has nothing to do with me. Zhang Jiaxue choked up, a bit flustered. Wei Shu, the person I've always liked is actually you. Will you give me a chance? I shrugged. But I don't like you. Besides, I think it's best for couples to get into similar universities. Otherwise there might be a generation gap. That's exactly what he said. I'm giving it back to him now. Zhang Jiaxue wanted to say more, but Gu Yi impatiently leaned in. Are you done yet? The top female scorer already said she doesn't like you. She scored 732. She's the top scorer, and you? Gu Yi's sarcasm was merciless. Zhang Jiaxue's face was very unpleasant, frozen in place, motionless. However, I don't care at all. Instead, I find Gu Yi quite adorable. I wonder what the top student is doing right now. Does he know I also came in first in the exams? I even scored a few points higher than him. At this year's graduation ceremony, as the student representative, I gave a speech on stage. The top student from the previous year actually came back. He was wearing a white shirt, with one hand in his pocket, standing in the crowd and looking at me. His smile as warm as the winter sun. On the way back home, the lady came to pick us up herself. Gu Yi sat in the passenger seat, seemingly very agitated. Why are there two top scorers around me? Damn it, I'm about to get depressed. The lady mercilessly teased him again. It's fine, you're physically strong. Gu Yi, I apologized for occupying the top student's room. He just smiled and asked, do you really want to work during the summer vacation? He knew I was short on money. He also knows that I won't accept favors from others. I nodded. Gu Chen, come with me to City B. For one, you can get familiar with the campus environment in advance, and for another, my newly opened company happens to be short-staffed. I was surprised. How did you know I chose Peke University? Gu Chen, it's written in your WeChat signature. I blushed. Gu Yi leaned in closer. Wei Shu, you're so much like my brother. Both of you never post on social media. I was taken aback for a moment. But the top student clearly updates his social media every few days. Could it be, did he block Gu Yi? At that moment, the noblewoman laughed and said, yes, they're both top scorers, so they must have something in common. Who's like you, kid, wishing you could post 24 updates a day on your social media feed? Gu Yi looked genuinely hurt. My face flushed even redder. So, the top student didn't block his brother, but made it visible only to me. I only have 2 sets of clothes to change into. With almost no luggage, fortunately, the prize money is quite generous, allowing me to be self-sufficient during my university years. I successfully entered Peke University, majoring in the same field as the academic prodigy. Perhaps it was seeing someone as outstanding as Gu Chen working hard every day that made me study more diligently, simply wanting to become a better version of myself. I won many major awards and became a prominent figure on campus by my junior year. I made many like-minded friends who introduced me to curling my hair, buying new clothes, and gave me countless emotional experiences I had never had before. I'd become more cheerful and smiley, growing increasingly confident. The dorm leader, the eldest, is a girl who's a bit mystical and eccentric, but also very smart. She's into metaphysics, and after studying it for a while, she started telling fortunes for everyone. She carefully observed my face and the palm of my hand, then said solemnly, "Wei Shu, you have a destiny of great wealth and honor. You are the chosen heroine." I was slightly taken aback. Suddenly, I thought of Tang Shanshan. She had said a few years ago that I was a supporting female character. It shows that my fate is not determined by others but is in my own hands. I haven't been in touch with my family for 3 years. By the time my brother found me, I had already become a prominent figure at school. I reinvented myself, learning ballet and the guzheng, and joining various clubs, so my brother found me quite easily. He looks a bit older than he did 3 years ago, probably because he started working and entered society, not as handsome as he was during his student days. My brother just opens his mouth and asks for money. His tone sounds exactly like my mom's, as if everything is just taken for granted. I'm in a relationship, but her family insists on buying a house. I only have a humanities degree from a second-tier university, and my salary isn't high. If I ever lose my job, I'll have no choice but to deliver food. You're my sister, so you have to help me. I asked. Why, just because you're the son and I'm the daughter? My brother suddenly grew angry. What daughter doesn't contribute to her brothers? You can't be so selfish, or you don't even deserve the surname Wei. I laughed. Is it selfish to be unwilling to sacrifice and not want to be taken advantage of? Me, brother, you're a college student. You've been educated. Don't you realize in your heart how absurd your thoughts and words are? My brother immediately retorted, I've looked into it. You've achieved some success now, and the money you donate in a year is enough to buy an apartment in a third-tier city. I'm not asking you to help me buy a house in Beijing. If you can donate to strangers, why can't you give the money to me? I'm your own brother. He still acted as if it were only natural. I shot back, and what about you? When our parents favored you over me, hit me, scolded me, and made me drop out of school, what were you doing as my brother? My brother was speechless. I continued, do you think I don't know? You also wish I could become a tool. You've always been the one benefiting, so you've turned a blind eye to my struggles. Leave. You're not my brother, and I don't need you as one. I don't deserve the Wei family name, and you don't deserve to be my brother. I'll keep donating every year, but I won't give you a single cent. My brother grew anxious. Do you know what the relatives say about you? They call you an ungrateful wretch, a hollow person, and say you've forgotten your roots. You won't help me, you'll regret it. It's true that when there's no common ground, even half a sentence is too much. How many more girls in this world are being exploited like me? Have they ever fought back? Have you managed to escape successfully? I don't know, and I dare not think about it. Even those so-called relatives helped exploit the girls, but what have the girls done wrong? Gender is like a lock, imposing certain outdated notions upon them and attempting to rationalize them. Once they resist or flee, those who benefit from the status quo will pounce, gnaw, insult, and suppress them. My expression had already turned cold, and I was not at all worried about breaking ties. Regret. I only regret being born into that family. A basketball came flying from a distance. Gu Yi rushed all the way here. This guy got into Peking University as a sports specialty student. He seemed to be provoked, insisting on getting into Peking University, and after repeating 2 years in a row, he finally achieved his wish, losing over 30 pounds in the process. Gu Yi stood with his hands on his hips, fiercely scolding my brother. What are you doing? Stay away from my sister-in-law, otherwise I'll beat you up. My brother is a bully who fears the strong, but before leaving, he still couldn't help but say unwillingly, Wei Shu, even if you don't care about me, you should at least care about our parents, otherwise, they'll sue you. I laughed. When they turn 60, I'll pay the alimony according to the legal minimum standard. My brother left with a grim expression. After my brother, my mother also came to see me. She looked much older than 3 years ago, with gaunt cheeks and an increasingly harsh appearance. Her gaze toward me was cold. It's been 3 years since we last met, and she didn't even ask how I've been doing. As soon as she opened her mouth, she lashed out, "If your brother can't get married, it's all your fault. He's the son of the family, he has to carry on the family line. You're harming our family, even our ancestors won't forgive you." I picked up my phone and dialed the security guard. My mother probably realized that I'm no longer the pushover I used to be. She's also afraid of the Gu family behind me. Seeing this, my mother softened her tone and said, "Your grandmother has been kicked out of the house by your uncle. She has nowhere to go now, and all her savings have been taken by him. You earn the most in our family, yet instead of helping out at home, you donate to outsiders. You really are a heartless person." My mother pointed at me, deliberately raising her voice in an attempt to use public opinion to crush me. However, during the freshman orientation ceremony, I represented the new students and spoke, openly sharing my story with the entire school. Therefore, my mother's aggressive behavior had no effect at all. A roommate rushed over. "Shoo shoo, is this your mom? Is she here for money?" "Don't be afraid, my family are all lawyers. We're a legal family. If your mom sues you, my whole family will help you fight the case." Soon, other alumni, or classmates, all came to help one after another. There were also the financially disadvantaged students I had sponsored. "Auntie, senior sister hasn't done anything wrong to you. People should be reasonable. What does your desire to carry on the family line have to do with senior sister?" "Exactly. When my senior gives birth to a child in the future, it will also be to carry on the family line for your family. This is Peke University, where everyone is highly educated." My mother was intimidated and didn't dare to cause a scene. As for my grandmother's situation, I really can't bring myself to feel sympathy. Isn't this the consequence of favoring sons over daughters? My mother is not clear-headed, but I have long been sober. The next day, my father met with me alone and mentioned Tang Shanshan. It turned out that after Tang Shanshan got together with the rich second generation, she looked down on my family and cut off all ties with us. My father has also aged quite a bit. He looked me over repeatedly, his eyes slightly red, as if showing a hint of relief. "My daughter, you are so much stronger than your father. You become so much more beautiful than before. In the past, it was your father. I let you down. I've been useless my whole life, and your brother is a lost cause too. Thankfully, you didn't inherit my genes." To this day, my father still brings up the topic of genes. "Me, Dad, I take after you, not Mom. It's just that I never gave in to fate. Time and time again, I saved myself." My father was stunned. After a long pause, he picked up the glass of plain water in front of him and took a few sips. In the end, my father left without mentioning the money. However, during the summer vacation of my senior year, I returned to Nanchang with the Gu brothers. I visited my former home and gave my parents 300,000 yuan in one go, on the condition that we would never have any contact again. My brother thought it was too little, but my father scolded him, saying, "You're unemployed now and still relying on your mother's and my pension. What right do you have to complain about it being too little?" My mom and grandma huddled on the sofa, looking at me with a gaze that was no longer filled with disdain and contempt as before, but rather tinged with a hint of fear. It was likely because I had accidentally become famous recently. I have a large number of followers across the entire internet. The change in my mom and grandma's attitude toward me wasn't because they had become better people, but because I had grown stronger. This honor, I have earned it myself. When I left, I didn't even look back, hearing my brother cursing behind me. "Pa, so what if you have a few stinking coins?" "Ha," I just smiled faintly, not taking it to heart. Goodbye for good. My so-called original family. I gazed into the distant sky, the vast expanse of the heavens. My life was just beginning. I entered the direct doctoral program. After graduating from university, some alumni from the first high school worked in City B and occasionally contacted me. My former deskmate mentioned Tang Shanshan. Shoo shoo. The rich second-generation Tang Shanshan married is actually all show and no substance. I heard that when she got divorced, she was saddled with debt. Later, she became a mistress for an older man, was discovered by the wife, and the whole thing ended up causing a scene at your house. Your mom kicked her out. Zhang Jiaxue went abroad before and only returned recently. It's not easy to find a job these days. He's currently in a situation where he's too good for some positions but not qualified enough for others. I smiled, hearing news about them again after several years. My heart remained calm and unmoved, as if I were listening to a stranger's story. That day, I went shopping at the mall to pick out a tie for Gu Chen. His birthday is next week. He had been hinting to me, saying that his male secretary at the company received a tie from his girlfriend and expressing how envious he was. What else is there to say? Giving a tie symbolizes tying the other person down. My academic genius actually believes in this kind of thing. Gu Chen has become increasingly dignified and composed lately, so I picked out a royal blue striped tie for him, which suits him perfectly. Just as I stepped out of the mall, I saw a woman wearing a baseball cap and a black windbreaker walking briskly toward me. My instincts told me something was off, because it was the height of summer. Yet this person was dressed heavily. I instinctively stepped back until the woman looked up, and I saw half of her face clearly. It was Tang Shanshan. I rushed back to the mall and found the security guard as quickly as possible. The security guard assessed the situation and took out his baton, ready to defend. Tang Shanshan couldn't harm me and became hysterical. Wei Shu, you were supposed to be the supporting female character. You stole my luck. You should have been the one to help me succeed. How could you have awakened? You don't deserve to awaken. You're just my stepping stone, the supporting female character who lifts me up. Is she crazy? Mentioning something about a supporting female character again. I stared at her steadily. I didn't take anything from anyone. Everything I have today, I earned myself. But you always like to take what belongs to others. What is a supporting female character? And what is a female lead? Whoever can give their all and strive with full effort will receive everything they deserve. Tang Shanshan held a dagger, attempting to stab me, but was restrained by security. Me, Tang Shanshan, the outcome you face today is the result of your countless choices. No one stopped you from studying, and no one stopped you from being a good person. Everything, every step, was your own choice, your own mistakes, Tang Shanshan. No, I won't listen. I should be the chosen heroine, adored by all. You were supposed to die. Me, in my previous life, I did indeed die. Could it be that she also has memories from a past life? But why didn't she work hard in this life? How strange. Gu Chen came to pick me up. Upon hearing the situation, he rushed over immediately. This rising star in the tech business circle nearly lost his composure in public. Shu Shu, are you okay? Gu Chen held me, carefully checking me over. I shake my head. At that moment, Tang Shanshan seemed to see a savior. Senior Gu, look at me. I'm more popular than Wei Shu. If you can like her, why can't you like me? Why? Gu Chen shielded me behind him. Frowning, he didn't respond to Tang Shanshan and instead called the police directly. Soon, the police arrived, and Tang Shanshan was taken away. The farce ended just like that. I didn't feel much about it. But Gu Chen was still shaken. Gu Chen, don't go out alone next time. I smiled and agreed with him. Okay, I was curious about one thing. It seemed like Gu Chen had been paying attention to me for a long time. Why me? You clearly have many options, Gu Chen said. There are many good-looking people, and there are many smart people, but there are very few like you who possess a dark vitality. At first, I admired you, but as I spent more time with you, I couldn't help but fall for you. Besides, Shu Shu, don't you have a clear understanding of your own appearance? Every time I take you out, there are always men stealing glances at you. I actually get quite angry inside, but I have to pretend to be magnanimous. I pursed my lips and smiled secretly. Gu Chen gave me so much confidence that I gradually came to believe I, too, was a unique existence in this world. Me, thank you, Gu Chen, I mean it. Thank you for existing. Gu Chen, Wei Shu, I'm also grateful for your existence. Thank you for being in this world. Gu Yi suddenly appeared from somewhere. Are you two done yet? Isn't this getting old? Are we still having dinner or not? Didn't we agree to meet for a meal? People in love are so annoying. Are you just bullying me because I'm single?